the top Democrat on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time. You yourself, you got President Obama saying, I don't think we're losing. You yourself seem to have much stronger words recently, as recent as March. Listen to this.
This strategy is making a real difference. ISIS is losing ground. Much of its top leadership has been taken out. Obviously, we still have much more to do. Thanks to our training, Iraqi security forces are improving so they can better deal with the ISIS threat.
Now, admittedly, a lot has happened. A lot has happened since March. But do you still believe that the strategy is working?
Well, it's not working 100%, and it's not working 100%. I mean, look, this is a long, tough battle. ISIS is resilient. They are on the move. And I'm not happy with what I see, but I think we're doing the best we can. I don't think that the American public or anybody wants us to get bogged down in another long war like we had in Iraq and Afghanistan. And so I think that the policy of airstrikes and trying to train and equip Free Syria Army, well-vetted rebels, is something that we should move toward. I mean, I was in favor 3 years ago. I put in a bill of aiding and equipping the Free Syria Army. I think we made a mistake by not doing it 3 years ago. I think that what happened was when the Free Syria Army withered on the vine because we didn't help them, ISIS moved into the opening. And we have a very, very difficult situation. You've got Assad on the one hand, who's a murderer of hundreds of thousands of his own people and civilians, and you have ISIS. So you've got two forces that are just terrible, and then you've got the fledgling force now of the Free Syria Army. We have to figure out a way to build them up so that they can ultimately win, but it's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy. It's quite hard, and it is not going well. Palmyra in Syria just fell to ISIS. Ramadi in Iraq just fell to ISIS. The Iraqi forces, which in March you said you were depending on and were getting better, they fell to ISIS and crumbled away from Ramadi. I guess my question is, if this isn't losing, then what is losing?
Well, look, I don't think we should get involved in the semantical discussion about winning or losing. Look, it's not good. We've got to do the best we can with what we have. And we don't have very many cards left. Again, I think we made a colossal mistake 3 years ago by not aiding.
Name a card. What card do we have? What's a card that we have now?
Well, first of all, we have to work with other states in the region, other Arab states in the region, which we're trying to do. We're trying to identify and vet rebels that can work with us from the Free Syria Army or other groups. They are already fighting and having some success, not great success, but some success in the south and in the north of Syria. And we've got to keep doing that. The alternative, of course, is getting America sucked in to another ground war.
Is it that?
I don't want to see that, and I don't
alternative,
think.
Though, I understand you don't want to do that. Many Americans don't want to get sucked into another war. But
right.
Is there something in between there? John McCain, just as recently as this morning, he said, and I know you and he have very different views on foreign policy, but he, and many others, they're now pushing, saying they want some 10,000 troops on the ground, not necessarily that being the 82nd Airborne, but something in terms of to help with more training and to help with intelligence, to help target those airstrikes more correctly, more directly. Is it time to offer that assessment?
Well, look, I have a lot of respect for John McCain. I mean, he knows this backwards and forwards, and we very often agree on a lot of things. But I think we need to be very, very careful before we start sending troops on the ground in any large capacity, because quicker than you can blink an eye, we could get sucked into another ground war, and I don't think we want to do that. And the truth of the matter is, we've got to have help from other countries. It can't be the United States doing it alone and getting involved in another ground war. I am in favor of United States involvement. I think the United States, we have a stake. We have to stop ISIS at any cost, and they're on the move. There's no doubt about it. But there are things that we can do, and I think we're trying to kind of thread the needle and find that point, but it's not really easy. You know, you mentioned Palmyra. There are ancient artifacts and things in Palmyra that date back to the 1st and 2nd centuries or even to BC. And the problem is that what ISIS has done when they've marched into places, they've destroyed all kinds of cultural relics of cultures that preceded Islam. And we're very much afraid that they're going to do that.
Yeah, and when they march into those towns, they're also killing people, not just antiquities.
Yeah, there's much more precious than the antiquities at stake.
Well, yes, of course, but it's not an either-or situation. You know, we have to first care about people, of course, but there are other things that we have to care about as well, and I think those antiquities are something that we need to do. Look, ISIS is an unlawful organization. They're killers. They're brutal. We have to stop them, but it's easier said than done.
Congressman, I know you don't want a lot of troops there. There are already 3,000 on the ground in Iraq. The former Defense Secretary Robert Gates suggested at least changing the rules of engagement, letting those 3,000 troops who are there already do more. Would you at least support that?
I would support that, and I'm not for no troops on the ground. I mean, I think that we have to have some forces to help with the airstrikes and other things we're doing. I just think we need to be very, very careful before we're sucked into another war. I'm not saying that there should never be troops on the ground. We need special forces.
Are you open to the proposition what John McCain and Lindsey Graham are putting forth, 10,000 troops, if they have the specific kind of mission of training and intelligence?
I'm not opposed to that. I just think we have to be very, very careful because 10,000 could rapidly become 20,000 and then 50,000 and then 100,000. We have to be very careful. But, you know, John McCain and Lindsey Graham, I have a lot of respect for both of them. They know the situation, and I think what they believe, and I've discussed this with them, that we have a responsibility. We can't walk away. We have to be the center of it because we have the know-how, and I agree with that. I just think we have to be very, very careful not to get sucked into another land war with tens of thousands of troops in a situation where we can't get out.
Congressman Eliot Engel, thank you so much for being with us. Please enjoy your weekend. I know you'll be remembering the troops like so many of us.
Important
Thank you
to have. Thank you so much, Congressman.
All right, tensions are so high right now in Texas. There's